So we're gonna do an item tier list. I'm just gonna like not super in depth this because it'll take 45 years. But you can kind of just like trust that these are some good takes. And I'll give a brief explanation description. Starter items are not included in this, but if I were to rate the starter items, Conduit very strong, probably an S tier, great pressure. Bluestone is also going to be an S tier, incredible pressure. The scaling of it's better than Conduit come late game. So that's really nice. Warrior's Axe, I'd probably put an A tier. I think it's good, but if you play it in solo lane in a lot of matchups, sometimes your clear speed is too slow, and although your fight's better, that can be a really big problem for just farming, and then you get behind, especially if your start goes a little bit awry. War Banner, I'd put in A tier. I think it's a good support starter, but Selflessness is just better. I'd put Selflessness in S tier. Bumba's Spear, I think, is overall better than Bumba's Hammer. So I'd put, Bumba's Dagger is better than Bumba's Hammer. I'd put Bumba's Hammer in A tier. Bumba's Dagger in S tier. I'd put Gilded Arrow in A tier. I'd put Cowl in A tier. Death's Toll in A tier as well. Yeah, not really any bad starters in the game. Sands of Time in A tier. And yeah, that's about that. I don't think I'm missing one. Um, so cool. Yeah, most of them A tier, some of them S. Realistically, though, you just kind of go them depending on the character you're playing. And that's that. Anyways, let's look at the actual items. So, Lifebinder, we're going to put this right in the C tier. Also, by the way, tiers, obviously S tier, always be building these. A tier, pretty good. Usually want to build some of these. B tier, kind of meh. C tier, pretty bad. D tier, never build ever. Lifebinder, I just don't really see a lot of value on this pickup anymore. Active items are really important. It's really great that they're good. So if you're going a kind of lackluster Lifebinder active item, just not really too great. I mean, what this item does give you, it gives you intelligence, health, and a bit of HP 5, as well as, an active that helps your laning phase. You typically only see this on like the Morrigan support and some Vulcan support slash tank solo aspect builds. It's really not great. I mean, it's nice pressure. If you want to play like a tankier mage slash guardian solo and go lifebinder, it's okay, but typically you're just going to get outclassed by items like pendulum and whatnot instead on picks like Athena. So, sort of just unimportant. It's not terrible though. Aerispa, we're going to put an S tier. This item's incredibly strong on guys who use it. You think of your support Apollos, you think of some of your soul laners. I think it makes characters like Balone and Amma, who typically are pretty bad, at least somewhat viable. The item is just incredibly strong, great sustain, helps you sneak, slash like duo fires and gold furies. You put this on an ADC, they're practically invincible if you're auto attacking. Just a very, very strong item and should be built a lot more than it currently is. Avenging Blade, I'm of mind that this item is pretty unbuildable. I'm debating between C or D tier. I'm gonna put it in D tier. The problem with it is not that statistically it's like a bad item, but it's kind of like a jungle frostbound, and that's already a weird concept. And if you're building an auto attacker in the jungle, you're just not building this item. You want to be building like a full yellow numbers build with like Braggies and Sunbeam Bow and even Bracer sometimes, depending if you're playing like Amaterasu. And if you're playing Bologna, I guess you could go this, but I don't know. I just don't really think there's ever a world you build this item ever. It's kind of like Lifebinder, except I think with Lifebinder, there's at least like a bit of times I can see it and say, like, hey, it's like kind of fine. Again, the stats of this item aren't bad, but there's just like virtually no reason to ever build it. So maybe you could put it C tier, but yeah. Breastplate, I'm going to put in the C tier. I really don't like this item. I think the only reason you ever build it is if you want cooldown on the tank. Uh, but the passive is trash, and mana, which it primarily is giving you, is really not that useful. Again, 25 cooldown rate is only really matched by Jotuns, but yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised this item hasn't been buffed. I don't think it's any good. Sunbeam Bow is an insta S tier. This item's broken. Highest damage output, incredibly strong on auto attack junglers. Broken on ADCs with the Death's Toll build. This item needs an immediate nerf. It's probably the best item in the game. Berserkers is trash. This item was really good. Now it's protections and whatnot are based off of items, which would make you think it's good on auto attack solos. But if you build an auto attack solo with enough defense to make this item viable, you're useless. This item's probably like one of the worst items in the game. Should never go Berserkers. Thank you, Cornfed, for the follow. Mystical Mail will put an A tier. This item getting a buff recently. in that it reduces shield health and stuff by 25% per tick. Makes it go from being kind of precarious and maybe not always great to being pretty consistently strong, paired with the fact that you're able to kind of get a defensive item that actually gives you some damage viability. Very, very important. You know, I think a lot of the times you're like, hey, can I just rush a damage item in solo? And the answer is yes, but if you're into a mystical, they're going to be doing semi-comparable damage to you, and they're just going to be harder to kill because they have prots and defense. So it really just slots in nicely as being one of the only valued hybrid items. Onis is going to go into the A tier as well. Magical defense items as a whole tend to be trash. I think this is the only one that's like decent. So if you need a magical defense item, you're going to go this item basically every game. The problem is it's still magical defense items and they tend to be pretty shit. So it's good, but kind of the best you got. Serrated is going to go in S tier. This item's buffs has made it incredibly strong. Ability healing with life steal is incredible. This is like Soul Leader and just like a strong strength item packed into one. Incredibly powerful. Should be building it practically all the time on most junglers and really every ability-based hunter if you want it. It's just that good. Soul Gem is like the exact opposite of Serrated. It's just kind of shit. I'm gonna put it in D tier. I don't think you should really ever build Soul Gem. I went to yesterday on Aladdin, and I genuinely think I lost the game off of going it. Like it really is just that bad. The intelligence amount it gives is terrible. Having a bit of cooldown is nice, but there's so many other items that give cooldown that are just better. And like while you like the sustain, you may as well just go Bloodbound and Typhons if you're building healing. There's really no purpose of ever building this item. It seriously needs a buff. It's just trash. It's kind of like the Lifebinder thing where it was like better on like these tankier mages, but those don't work. And if you do build them with like a tankier build, you're just better off going other items. Obshard, I think this is pretty obvious. If you don't have Pen on a backliner, whether it's Obshard or Titan's Bane, you are just an idiot and you're just going to feed. I mean, these items are core every game. Unbelievably strong. They give Pen, other items don't. Demon Blade, I'm of mind that crit has gotten overall pretty much worse. Because the pen builds, in my opinion, the on-hit builds are a little bit better. Even then, Demon Blade is solid. I'll put it in the B tier. I think it's good, but you need other crit items, obviously, to augment this and make it better. But overall, fairly solid. Binding is terrible. Never build this item. It's just trash. Yeah, I know it technically is like flat pen or whatever. Statistically, I think this item gives like no prots. It gives like no health. I mean, it's just so bad from a stat perspective that if you go this, yeah, you're setting up, so to speak, but you're making yourself such a liability, it's just not worth it. Bloodbound with the nerfs, I'm really not too high in this item. I think it's like a B tier item. Um, you know, if you're building like an Anubis or something and you're going like 45 lifesteal items, of course it's still good, but there's a lot more anti-shielding in the game. And then if you're just playing like Anubis, or if you're playing, excuse me, Hades or something, and this is your only lifesteal item, it's really taken a bit of a hit. I don't think you need to be building this anymore. Again, if you're going this with Typhons on Anubis, I think it's good. Besides that, not really loving it too much. But still a strong pickup in those situations. Bloodforge, I'm of mind that this item is a little bit slept on. I know it's kind of the same situation as Bloodbound, except where this is a lot more scaling off of your strength in total and stuff. Which obviously strength items just got buffed. It's sort of like Bloodbound before it got nerfed. I think this item's good, not clearly as good as Bloodbound was in its peak, but yeah, slots really well onto a Pele and things. Thank you so much, Schemas, for the sub. I really do appreciate it, man, and I hope you feel better, bro. That sounds pretty messed up, but yeah, man, recover, and hope to see you back on your feet soon, bro. Thank you so much. Yeah, so this just like really good strength. The healing is good. The shield's good. It's just like a physical version of Bloodbound, but it's just kind of better. Book of Thoth is horrible. Yeah, this makes me feel sad. This item is just a liability. Like, it's so bait. It's terrible. I don't know how a stacking item can be this bad, but it is. Uh, you know, with Transcendence being better, you would be like, hey, well, aren't these double stack builds just good? No, they're not. Like, it sucks. And it really is sad. I don't know how this item's still so bad without a change. You can build this item on Kukulkan. If we're talking strictly on Cuckoo, I guess this is like a C tier item because you do need it on Cuckoo, but I don't know. Like, Yeah, it's tough. This is a Cuckoo item, and that's it. That's the only character this item's good on. Could you make an argument that it has to be C tier for that? I'm gonna say no, just because it's so abhorrently bad on every other character that it's just like a waste. Braggies is gonna go into the A tier. Item is very solid. Great damage. Can be a little bit misleading, I think, in building, because you do want to prioritize some other items like Sunbeam over it. And sometimes I think people will rush this, especially like if you go at first time in ADC and you're a strength only hunter. If you're only able to get tier 2s, it's a bit troll because you're kind of getting like some intelligence and stuff which you're not using. But overall, the item's really good, just can be a tiny bit wacky, but still a very strong pickup. This is not in order, by the way. Like, I'm not trying to list these in order. This is just S tiers, S tier, A tiers, A tier. Brawlers is going to go in the A tier. Got a strength buff. I think it's 60 strength. Quite strong. It's a little weird to build, but not because it's bad, but because the jungler items are so unbelievably broken that it's like you have a million choices. Chronos Pendant, we're going to put in the A tier. A little bit low on int, but high cooldown is always strong. I think the only like kind of drawback of this item is just that a lot of int items give pretty good cooldown, so you don't always need it, but still very good. Cersei's is going in S tier. The nerfs, in my opinion, still aren't enough to warrant this item not being broken. It's kind of just like slippery slope. I feel like this item's hard to balance and will always just be incredibly viable. So yeah, Crusher, I'm going to also put in the S tier. This has the same strength as Brawlers, but it gives you cooldown. Proc items are really strong right now. These full strength builds, it obviously slots in every single time, and it's incredibly powerful. Dagger, a Frenzy will put in the B tier. I think it's decent. Just kind of gets outscaled, and it gives you good fight early, but yeah, if it scales a bit poor, kind of awkward, I think, at times. Deathbringer will put in the A tier. Obviously great for DPS on objectives and all those things. And yeah, you kind of want to keep it, in your crit builds, but obviously it takes a little bit. But once you get it with Rage, Demon Blade, and stuff, you're kind of feasting, so really good. Death Metal, I'm going to put in C tier. This item is not actually terrible. It's one of the few items that like buffs you and your teammates. Just the problem is it's kind of awkward to fit. You know, can you build it? Sometimes, yes. If you're able to build it, it's really good for objective burn and shred. I'm always of mind that that's going to be valuable, but it's just kind of hard to slot in, so typically not going to be going it. Demonic Grip, sort of in the same spot where it's like, why would you build this? It's not a bad item, but I just don't really see a huge reason. It's hard to slot in, but it's not a terrible item necessarily, just kind of one of those that it's a bit forgettable. I still would rather build Demonic over these D tier items, though. These are just like bad. Devos will put in B. It kind of just depends on when you go Devos or not. If you're playing a god like Agni and you're going like a crit build and you go Devos, it's a little bit slow to start, but the scaling is really strong. That's kind of the thing with Devos. It's just a better Book of Thoth, but you still have a drawback early, and it's very Transcendence-esque in that regard. Is it good though? Overall, yeah. It just kind of... Oh, Demonic is literally gone from the game? Really? When did they remove it? Okay, GG. Alright, Demonic gone. XD. Why did they remove this item? 2 months ago? Why is it still here? Oh, did they just get rid of it for Totem? Oh, GG. Okay, well, whatever. Listen, Demonic while gone is still better than all these D tier items. I maintain. Okay, yeah, because Dominance is gone too, huh? Alright, well, we'll get rid of it, not to confuse people, but I look very educated now. Divine Ruin, A tier. Solid. Proc is good. It's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's anti-heal. Nothing really to say about it. Doom Orb, another A tier item. I think it's a tiny bit overrated by some people, but overall really strong. Pretty good first item to go on most games, and yeah, you just kind of want to go Doom Orb if you want movement or not movement speed, if you just want power and stuff. So yeah, I keep forgetting it doesn't have movement speed anymore, but it's still really strong. A lot of int, some mana as well. So if you're playing like Cuckoo and you want to go Book, hooray! If not, don't build it. On Cuckoo with Book, but yeah, pretty good. Dreamer's Idol. Tahuti, S tier. Intelligence, percentage conversion, really good. 3k gold, which is expensive, but I mean, this is core in literally every mage of all time, so you just kind of build it. Uh, this item, I think it's what called Eye of Providence. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not good. I think it's a D tier, right? This item sucks. Like, the only reason it might be C tier is just because, like, oh, I give vision to my team because I place awards, but like for an active item, boys, this is just not it. The stats are not good. Yeah, we're gonna put that in D tier, sorry. Eye of the Storm. Gonna go into the B tier. This was an S tier item, got nerfed pretty significantly. I think it's still okay. It's just not anymore like a perma-built item. Overall, a pretty solid spot. A little bit niche, but I think you can make it work on characters that can use it well, like Odin, still decently. Thebes we're going to put in the A tier. A lot of health, which is great. Only problem is from a tier 2 perspective, you only have like one tier 2 to build into it, and it's a bit bad, so it's just a bit weird. So overall, I would probably just you can build it. It's more of a later game item in solo and support. But if you get the stacks off pretty solid, it just stacking items are a bit wonky sometimes. Gemma Focus, not great. I just don't really think there's a way to build this item consistently. But if you go in on like Baron, I kind of have liked it on Baron aspect. So that's a decent spot to go at. I think Gem of ISO is borderline unusable. I would basically never build this item. It just sort of sucks. Pridwin, in my opinion, has just been significantly outclassed by Freya's Tears. I really don't see any purpose of building this item. If there's a world where maybe you go both together, it's fine, I guess. It does still give you shared procs and cooldown and a proc that gives you some offensive output, but overall it's just kind of been outclassed. It's still okay, I suppose. Genji's we're going to put in the B tier. Again, I'm of mind that all the magic defense items in this game are pretty trash except for Oni's, so although you might see Genji's being built, it's out of necessity, not because it's good. Golden Blade. Another B tier. I think this item's decent, but it's kind of just hard to fit. You can go it on like Aspect Pele as an offensive option with the full tank build. You could also do it on like an Aspect Fenrir full tank build in solo, or just a regular Fenrir full tank build in solo. But usually you're just better off going the Braggies and the Tierfings of the world. It's not that bad, but it's just there's kind of better items. It's still decent enough that you can build it even on like a Bologna with the kind of weird tanky build, and it's fine. You know, gives you some nice wave clear and stuff. Fatalis we'll put in the A tier. I was kind of mind that this item was pretty poor, but with the Death's Toll Golden Blade build, it's a really nice 6th item slot. And I think it's solid. If you're not going a Golden Blade build with Death's Toll, I don't think you should ever build Fatalis. Like with the crit builds, I think this item is pretty trash, but with the pen on hit builds, quite strong. Heartseeker, very easy S tier. Strength items get buffed. You use maximum strength. It did get reverted. It got super buffed, and it was the best item in the game by far. But it's still extremely good. These strength builds with Heartseeker are just OP. Okay, Bracer, I'm going to put in the B tier. I think this item is pretty slept on. Gives you basic attack damage. Really good on Amaterasu. Really good for PvE OBJ play. It's a bit hard to slot in aside from that, but it's a very niche item that does very well and its allotted purpose. Helm of Darkness, I think, similar idea. Niche item, but it does well in what you need it to. Helm of Radiance is really strong, great physical defense, magical item. If you're, playing a mage solo or even some gods like Mordred, it can be quite strong on. Nemean, I think, is good still, but not OP anymore. So it's pretty solid. Hussar's Wings, we're going to put in the B tier. Really expensive, just kind of hard to get, but nice active effect, obviously. The prots are just a bit bad as well. Hydra's is going to go into the S tier. Really strong jungle items, again, are OP. Jotuns is going to go into the A tier. I think with this, there's a lot of cooldown items that are just really good that give less cooldown, but their other stats are really strong. So Jotuns is definitely powerful, but like a lot of the times you can just go like Crusher, Heartseeker, and you'll get enough cooldown that you're happy with. Even then, though, this item is still really strong. If you build like a tank Odin and you go a Jotuns in it, you're kind of invincible. So really strong item. It just, again, the jungle items are so unbelievably broken that you don't even see it being built. Leviathan's Hide is garbage. This is just D tier. The only time you can kind of make this work is into Danza aspect, and even then it's really not worth it. And that's if you're playing solo lane into one. It's just not viable. Yeah, it sucks. Glad Shield C tier. No point in building this item. It at least, off procs, like, gives you some viability. With like a full tank build on a god like Mordred, so you can do it on that character, and maybe on some other tank gods in the future who have like stance switching and stuff. You could kind of see it be valuable, but right now, just not a huge point of building it. It's just not really strong enough. But at least it's fizz defense and cooldown, so it's got some health too. It's kind of breastplate tier in my opinion. This item doesn't exist, right? They did the look. I forgot what it's called. It's like some Japanese name now. Um, the dual swords or whatever. Does that still exist? I haven't seen the item built in like a year. I think you build it on like Kali, if at all, but I don't think it's any good. Yeah, is it any good? I don't think so. I've never seen this item be built. I think like if you're playing Kali, you just go other items. I'm gonna put it in D tier. It's a crit movement speed item. Yeah, okay, bye bye. Sorry, Musashi's. Necronomicon is unusable. Guys, it's actually crazy how many items in this game are unusable. It's definitely pretty sad. Like, all these items suck. You can't use any of them. Man, that's tragic. Titan's Bane easy S tier. Again, another pen item just like Shard. Odysseus Bow is an A tier, really good ADC item you can slot into your builds. Avatar's Parashu is going to go into the C tier. It's better than Dreamer's Idol, but still kind of runs into the same issue. A lot of strength, very expensive. Obviously, physicals don't have a Tahuti-esque item, so it doesn't just get completely obsoleted, but yeah, overall, not really a huge purpose of building. Pendulum is going to go into the S tier. Very strong item. Cooldown resets are incredibly strong. Look at this jungle roll, guys. Isn't it awesome? Pharaoh's Curse, C tier. This is a big reason why the Bolognas of the world and stuff are just not really too great. Auto attack solos just don't have items that are very good, and Pharaoh's Curse is kind of one of the big glowing marks of that. Phoenix Feather is terrible. It's at least giving you health and prots together, which is kind of nice, but anti-heal is so prevalent. And again, magical defense items tend to be pretty shit. So yeah. Polynomicon, S tier. This is one of the best items in the game, my opinion, and I think on mages that use it well, Cuckoo, Baron, Aphrodite, full damage obviously. Um, there's more. Neith, I know she's a hunter, but full int Neith, among other characters, is just extremely strong and is just super core in those picks and makes them feel crazy good. Prophetic Cloak, I'm going to put in the A tier. This item can be a little bit bait to go, but if it's a good Prophetic game, it's incredible. If it's a bad Prophetic game, it's unusable. Just be mindful of how easy it is to stack on your character. If it's easy, this item is insanely strong, but overall, the low sides of it can be bad, so I think A tier is pretty reasonable. Kin size, I don't think is great. I'll put in B tier. It can be really good into super high, heavy health drafts, but overall, there's usually just better items. It's still strong enough kited, together with a full like attack speed on hit build. So it's not terrible, but there are just slightly better choices. Mushroom is just not great. I think only for the fact that you can heal allies, and sometimes if you're into a comp or if you have a comp where you don't have a lot of healing in your draft, it can be a little bit decent because people won't be like predisposed to building anti-heal, and then you could go it. So say you have like a aspect chalk on your team, and you have I don't know, like just maybe like a mid laner who won't build too much lifesteal right now, like Merlin or something, or maybe any. Maybe like they just won't build anti-heal and you can just get away with this mushroom for like objectives. It's not great, but there's like some niche case scenarios where, I think it can at least be sort of decent. Ankh is an S tier, very easy defense anti-heal item to go. You should always be going this if they have any type of healing. Um, Gargoyle is trash. It's magical prots and cooldown, so that's like okay, I guess, but like, yeah, this item sucks, dude. Is it better than these D tier items? Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's like trash, dude. You could debate putting in D tier. It's close. I'm gonna say just because uh it's magical prots and cooldown and it's an actual active that can win you a fight. I guess it's okay, but yeah, I don't know. Oathsworn Spear, another S tier, really good proc damage, just in reducing flat pen prots, really big deal. very strong. A lot of strength as well. Shifter's Shield, we're going to put in C tier. This item is not great, but just the fact that it's like kind of a hybrid item that can help you in lanes that maybe you can kind of get bullied in. I think with like lifesteal, it's got an opportunity to be strong because you'll typically be healthy, and then when you're not, you're a bit more survivable. It's kind of just a weird item that struggles to be relevant, but I don't think is like unbuildable. It's just kind of weird. I think you could build it on like Chalk, and a couple other characters with some sustain, and it's like okay. Phoenix Shield is going to be an S tier. I think this is pretty obvious, just really good sustain. Cooldown, quite cheap, a lot of health. Not a lot of prots, but it doesn't matter. Item's just very good. Shoguns is going to be another C tier. Again, just like Pharaoh's Curse and stuff, these items are just not really strong, and as a result, auto tech solos tend to kind of suck. Spectral we'll put in the A tier. I think this item's good, but not great. Pretty balanced though, considering I don't think crit is like incredibly strong. I think it's like good. You want to go it. You don't need to go it every game. This is kind of specifically to counter build crit. But if crit's in this game, you do build it. So I think that makes it pretty reasonable. Soul Reaver will put in A tier. I think this item's strong on characters that can apply it well with a lot of procs. Think of gods like Merlin to be like kind of the quintessential Soul Reaver gods. The only thing with it is you do typically build it very late, which isn't a bad thing or anything. It just kind of takes some items to get online, and the mana stat is kind of wasted. But overall, it is pretty good. Deso, I think, is a pretty easy S tier. I think it's super high in, good cooldown. The passive's incredibly strong. You want to be building this on most mages, if not all of them. Sphere of Negation is a bit of a weird one. The prots are really good. The problem with it is it gives you 100 magical prots, which looks great, and 70 intelligence, and the intelligence stat is almost entirely wasted. The problem with it is like, what character are you building this on? If you just want the magical prots because you're playing a tank, the int is practically useless. And if you're playing a mage, do you really want this? I don't know. If you're building like a hybrid tank Anubis, I think it can be quite good. If you're building like a hybrid mage solo period, I think it can be quite good. But again, I don't think those builds themselves are good. I don't really know when you would build this, truthfully. Like again, this is for Conquest. So if you build this in Arena or Joust or some shit, by all means. But I don't know. I really don't know when you go this. Like, it should be decent, but it's kind of hard to build. 100 prots is great, so it's not going to be a terrible item, but it's just sort of hard to rationalize building this. I think Spirit Robe is incredibly strong. I'm going to put this in S tier. I think it's one of the better defense items in the game, and you should be building it. Cosmic Horror. Ooh, yeah, tough. I think Cosmic Horror is kind of one of those items that's going to be good if Book is good because it has mana and it's like gives you cooldown. So if you build like a Book build with Soul Reaver and like Shard, it's like, okay, this is where I get my cooldown. But yeah, Cosmic Horror, because Book sucks, I don't see there's any reason building it. It's just bad. I don't know. It sucks. I like this item a lot, but it's just not good. Mirrodin, I'm going to put in C tier. It's kind of hard to justify building this item really ever, but it gives you some cooldown and it's not like the active itself is bad. You can build it on Hades, you can build it on Aspect Ganesha, but it's just very niche. So if you like it, you can go it. Overall, though, you're not like looking to build it consistently. Stampede is still like an A tier support item. Overall, quite strong. Having like a slow cleanse sprint is always valuable. Team Beads is going to go in S tier. Definitely worse than it used to be because it did get a lot of nerfs, but when it's good, it's a must buy, and it kind of just saves your team really good into gods like Ares, Aladdin, Fenrir, among others. So, incredible item. Tekko Kage, in my opinion, is trash. I don't think you should really ever build this. But at the very least, it gives you movement speed. I think it's very Gem of Focus-esque, but at least you can kind of build it on like Uller and stuff and sort of be happy. Again, I don't think there's a huge reason to build it, but like these items are active detriments. I wouldn't say this is an active detriment. Executioner, I'm going to put an A tier. Some people think this item's broken. Some people think this item sucks. I think it's good, but not amazing. Titan's Bane is definitely just the better option. If you want to go both, I guess you could. But yeah, I mean, it's nice for the on-hit builds. Feels pretty decent. And yeah. Reaper, we'll put into the... I think this is a B tier item. It's kind of just hard to like justify going. It's a really good Pele item. Besides that, I don't really think there's a lot of space for it. But because of how good it is on Pele with the full commit, you get a couple kills, it's nice. I mean, what's so hard is like I think when this item gets some stacks, like past the third stack, it's really strong, but you have to get kills for it, which is just like a weird dynamic, and it kind of makes it hard to justify, especially with Serrated being so good. But it's still like not bad. World Stone. Um, I'll put it in the C tier. I mean, it's nice on like Aspect Merlin and solo lane with like a Phoenix Shield build. But overall, it's just kind of hard to justify. Again, there's like a lot of items like Cosmic Horror and World Stone that are like clearly meant to be built with Book of Thoth because of all the mana they have added to them. But with Book of Thoth being trash, they just are kind of floating and useless or like not great. And I think it falls into that same issue. Totem of Death, I'll put in the A tier. I think this item is good, but it's just kind of hard to fit in the sense of like you have to build it on specific mages if you go it like Merlin. You could build it on Cerberus. You can build it on Chalk. I know I said mages and I listed one mage, but like the characters that can use it, they use it well. You have to have a lot of ticks, and if you don't have a lot of ticks, you don't build it. So it's good, but it's just niche. But I think it's really strong. So it's sort of like Bracer, except it's better on the gods that use it. Void Shield is just not needed in this game. I mean, I'm never going to say a hybrid item that gives you some like protection reduction and defense isn't at least okay. I think it can save you on like tankier junglers, but I don't know. There's just not a huge reason to build this item right now. Not with uh, proc builds just being good. I think it's just kind of thrust to the side of the meta. It's very Pharaoh's Curse-esque to me, where it's just like it's not its time to be good, which is fine. Mantle, I'm of mind that this item's a little bit overrated. I'll still put it in B tier because the passive can kind of just save you. But it's just a worse version of Spear Robe. It's still decent. You can build it if you really want it, but don't need to. Again, I think B tier is pretty validly placed for it. Typhons, I'll also put in. Debating B tier or A tier. I think I'll put in B tier. The thing with Typhons that's weird is like, mm, is this fair to put it here? I don't know. I'm gonna put an A tier maybe actually. I think on hybrid characters that use Typhons, like if you play Bari or you play Medusa, and you build like Serrated with Typhons, it's incredibly strong. I think if you try to do something that's not that, it's not that good. But in those Typhons Serrated builds, this item feels crazy strong just because your life steal is like so much better and your damage is really high and you just heal a ton. It's very cheesy and kind of takes you aback even if you have anti-heal at how strong this can be. I'd recommend, and I might even get a video on it, like building this with anti-heal and stuff, or with Medusa and stuff into anti-heal. It doesn't really matter that much. A Void Shield is just very, Void Stone's very Void Shield-esque, kind of similar items. Triton's Conch, I'm of mind that this item is very good. I'm going to put in the S tier. It just gives you like aura damage and stuff, which is not common in this game. Auras in general are not common. And I think this one is so much different than Death Metal in that you can always use it and be strong with it. Transcendence is definitely good now. It's not broken, but it is good now. There are worlds where you literally just don't go Transcendence, which is crazy because the item itself is not bad. It's just that these items are so unbelievably broken that you can kind of skip it and still be happy. Wish Granting Pearl, I think, is actually not that bad. I know it's kind of the weird tankier mage playstyle and thing, but the amount of intelligence and health does make this at least sort of decent. The problem is just justifying, like, when do you actually build this? I think with Bloodbound being a little bit worse, you might see this a little bit more on like Zeus solo and or jungle, but it's a little bit hard to fit. I still kind of like it, just in terms of like you slot this with some defense, you have health. It's definitely not terrible. Again, I don't think items like Kin Size are that consistently built, so there's a spot for it. It's just a bit weird. Yogis, I'm gonna put in the A tier. The sustain on this item is really good if you're playing a Pele, you're playing an Apollo aspect. It's really strong. It's also just like nice and safe for supports to be building if they want to. I think overall it's a pretty solid item. Obviously, it can get countered by anti-heal, but you get out of combat, you'll heal back pretty quick. It's kind of like a built-in chalice. That's always nice. Rod of Asclepius is just terrible. Not really much to say about it. I don't know when you build this item. I don't think you do. Typhon, or yeah, Bancroft, excuse me, really bad. You know, in a meta where like healing and sustain is so great, they made sure to make this item so unusable. It's like absurd. I'm so shocked Bancrofts is this bad. It's just like unbuildable. Erendite I think is extremely slept on. I'm gonna put in the A tier. I got a strength buff. The active proc thing I think is super useful when Loki is incredibly strong, which he is. And the movement speed, although nerfed, is still viable enough that I think this item is very slept on. Nimble Ring, another A tier item. Not always useful, but when it's good on Ra, full in Poseidon, um, it's pretty incredible. I mean, there's also like these like weird pseudo lifesteal builds where you can build this like on Medusa that are kind of fun and overall pretty good. I think this item, again, niche, but extremely strong in the gods that use it, kind of like Totem. Lernean Bow is another A tier, maybe an S tier to me. This is really the only way you're getting anti-heal on hunters. And with the crit builds, I mean, this item can kind of just like win you fights by accidentally. So, yeah, really strong pickup. Shield Splitter, I think, is completely out of the meta and out of reason. I don't know why you would build Shield Splitter, and I just wouldn't. There's just so much anti-shielding in the game, and they're usually just a bit better. Like Mystical kind of just remove this item's purpose. But it still gives shared prots and strength, so it's like, how bad can it really be? You know? Magi's will put in the A tier, I guess. I mean, the prots are decent on this item. The effect is obviously really good. I think generally speaking, the full strength jungle builds are just better, but it's a really good safety item. And yeah, overall pretty solid. You can make an argument for S tier on this, but I think A tier is a good enough spot. Contagion, I think, is extremely bait. The stats on the item itself are not bad, so I can't put it in D tier because I don't think like you build it and you just lose. It's definitely not that bad, but yeah, I don't know. This item feels unremarkable, and I don't really know why. It should be good. The health regen's nice. The amount of health on the actual item itself is nice, but it just doesn't feel as good as it should, and that's very weird. Again, I think on like an Anubis, against Anubis, excuse me, it can be pretty decent, but yeah, kind of weird to justify building this. I feel like for an active item, it's a bit underwhelming. Still, like, not the worst, though. Dwarven Plate, I think, is also very C tier-esque. I just don't know when you build this item. It's not terrible. Like, the stats look okay. The weird, like, shift proc item being an active that's not really an active is, like, fine. It's just kind of hard to fit in builds, and so it's a bit forgettable. But, again, you're not, like, actively trolling yourself building it. Erosion, I think, is a B tier. This item is just niche. Anti-shielding can be good, cannot be good. If you're into like a Nem-Geb comp, which would be a bit weird to see on the same team, but you know, it can be pretty strong. Shells, you know, is a little bit worse now, but if you're playing like Emoja, they go a lot of shells. You can slot this in pretty easily, and it's definitely solid. Did I not already rate Nimble Ring? Oh, there's just two of them. Okay, awesome. Well, we'll skip that. Um, Draconic Plate is solid, but kind of hard to fit in builds. I think into high ticks and stuff, it's decent. It's just a bit expensive, so you have to build it late. Yeah, there are a couple of items missing, so we'll talk about those in a second, don't worry. But yeah, I did notice that as well. So we'll get to it at the end. Yeah, Draconic Plate Helm is solid. I don't think it's bad at all. Um, it's a bit expensive, but for like a late game defense item, it's shared prots, pretty reasonable. I do think it's actually quite good. Scepter of Dominion is just really hard to slot in. I really like the item, but I just don't think it's very good. It's super cool, super unique. Um, Obviously can kind of win you a fight, but overall the stats are a bit awkward. It's kind of hard to slot in. I don't really know if you should be building it. Runeforged, I think easy B tier. Health strength, not the best, though there's better options. Another Lernean Bow, I don't know why. Awesome. Freya's Tears will put in the S tier. I think this is clearly one of the best tank items in the game. Great shared prots, great cooldown, and active is pretty good. And Jade Scepter will put in the A tier. Really kind of selective on when you build it, but on some of the mages it feels really strong. And on Ganesha Aspect, it's pretty cool. The knockback is always great. Self-peel, good on Ra. And yeah, I would never go Rune Forge. To be honest, like I just think there's better options, but it's not a bad option. It's just more so like Pendulum is just the better version. Almost always. I don't really think of a god you insta rush Rune Forge on. So yeah, we are missing a couple of items on this thing. I'm not really sure why. Tearfing, Signet, and Rage. So I can just kind of like um, mention those really quick. So when it comes to Ancient Signet, that's probably a pretty solid C tier. You build it on Nuwa, and that's it. But Nuwa is so trash that it's like, what are we doing here? But if you build it on Nuwa, it's pretty good. It's kind of like Cuckoo with Book, where it's like the item's not that good, but like Nuwa uses, like a god uses it really well. Except that like Signet is like kind of okay on other gods, where Book is just unusable. Um, what's the other ones? Rage. Rage is an easy A tier. You can argue S tier. I mean, it's just a lot of crit chance, but it's stacking. Probably A tier for Rage. And then Tearfing is an easy S tier. I think the item's incredibly strong and kind of part of why the auto tech jungle shit is going absolutely ballistic. So yeah, that is the item tier list. In my opinion, this is OB, I don't know, 12 or something. I'll probably make another item tier list in like 3 months from now. So if you want to see, check back, see how much changes. Yeah, so that is that. Cool.